Hi, this is a reflection on lesson 195 in A Course in Miracles, and it says, love is the way I walk in gratitude. And I'm going to start driving because I'm on my way to my client's home for a home visit. This talks about how love is the way I walk in gratitude, but it first talked about, really, it didn't use these words, but it talked about comparative suffering. Whee! I haven't done this since my road trip. Woo! Does that make you dizzy? It talked about how sometimes we humans only feel good by comparison. By comparing our amount of suffering to an amount or kind of suffering of someone else. And then like, oh, well, they have it much worse, so that makes me feel better. And it's like very problematic. It's kind of true, isn't it? Like we're always looking around comparing and saying, well, at least I don't have it that bad, by comparison. And it kind of makes people feel better to see other people worse off, is what the lesson is kind of saying. And then, but we can have just gratitude for what we do have, like gratitude for all that we experience, all that we have, whatever that means, I don't think it's talking about tangible, like material world stuff, but we can be grateful instead of always comparing. So once we come into, I think, gratitude for like, oh wow, everything around me, it's just so beautiful. I have enough. I have more than enough, than I need. I'm not grasping or craving or attaching to things I don't have. So if we can just come into gratitude, it means we stop the comparison. I'm no longer feeling better when someone else is not feeling great. So I think that's kind of what the lesson was about. And yeah, there's like, I kind of really like that they call out comparative suffering, because there's really no real value in it. It's all an illusion to say like, oh, I feel better because someone else feels bad, or oh, even if it wasn't that malicious, to say like, well, at least I don't have it that bad, and then you sort of like convince yourself that you feel okay, but we first feel bad because we're not living in gratitude. So so that's what this one made me think of, is how it is a natural human tendency to compare. And I think I talked about that in one of the last lessons. Like we're always comparing with, against, like, especially in society where it's like, where do I fit? Do I feel like it's a hierarchy? Do I feel like, where do I fit? What's my puzzle piece in the greater whole? So by just naturally, it's comparing and contrasting, like, am I more like this group? Am I more like this group? It's kind of a natural tendency, I think, but it can be very problematic when it comes to like, oh, I feel better now because they've got it much worse than me. Makes my suffering not feel as bad. Yeah, and that doesn't feel right, does it? But if we live in gratitude, then we're not comparing suffering. We're just in a state of acceptance. So that's what it made me think of, and that's it. Lesson 195.